Hello everyone, how's it going? I'm WoWcrendor and welcome to Learning Blood Bowl 2. Me and Sam have been streaming so much Blood Bowl 2 and a lot of people have been buying the game and we've been getting a lot of questions in chat being like, what is this thing? Or like, I'm not sure how this works, blah blah. So I decided I'm going to make a video where we talk about the basics of Blood Bowl. And I made a video like this. It was the basics of Blood Bowl in 3 minutes and I made it 4 years ago. Oh my god. 4 years ago, I made a basics of Blood Bowl. But that was in the old game. A lot of the rules are still the same. So if you'd rather see a video of Blood Bowl in 3 minutes, go check that one out. And if you're still interested, come back here and be like, alright, this is a little more detailed. But I'm just going to go over most of the stuff you're going to have to know as a new player. And, yeah. So, if you don't know what Blood Bowl is, it's a fantasy sports strategy game. With dice. So you pick your team, all these fantasy races. There's humans, orcs, dwarves, Skaven, high elves, dark elves, Britonians, chaos, wood elves, lizardmen, Norse, undead, necromantic, and Nurgle. Now, Nurgle, necro, undead, Norse, lizardmen, and wood elves are DLC. So I'm throwing that out there. If I were you and I were to buy DLC, undead and lizardmen are probably your two best bets for newer players. So just gonna put that out there, alright? I don't know why I did that voice change. Either way, for people that don't have that, humans and orcs are gonna be your standard go-to teams that are pretty balanced, easier to pick up for new players, hence why the skill levels 1 and 2. Dwarves are pretty tricky. Skaven are, I'd say you gotta get used to them. Elves are definitely some of the trickiest to play. Britonians, even when you're good, I don't know if they're that great. They're, like, sometimes they'd be good. And then Chaos can be good too, but it's a lot harder to, like, pick the ball up and make some plays with Chaos and do stuff like that. So, let's say you want to make an orc team, right? So we make an orc team. So you got all your stuff. Team name, I am learning to play. Woo! Yay, learning. Ralph Wiggum. Alright, so you can pick all your stuff, you can pick your jerseys, whatever you want, you know, maybe you want that one, great. So you also pick your stadium, doesn't really matter too much, I mean you can pick anyone you want, you can name it what you want, Pepsi, Max, Papa John, Swag, you know, it's all the letters it'll actually fit, so... First things first, this is going to pop up, automatic choice of roster. Your assistant can hire your players and staff for you. So this is pretty much the computer builds your team and you play with that. I would not do this if I were you. I would click no. And then this is going to take you to this screen. And you're going to see all this stuff. Might be a little overwhelming at first, but it's not. Don't worry. So there are various team builds you can do with all the teams. And one of the best places to go for learning about all the starting rosters and stuff is BB Tactics. There's also Fumble. Those are two of the biggest Blood Bowl sites, but BB Tactics is what I always used. I'll put links to both of those in the description, so you can check those out. But for orcs, just pull up their starting rosters. These are pretty much like the staple rosters, like good people have put together that are good. So... one of them is 2 linemen, 1 thrower, 4 black orcs, which are the blitzers. Oh no, black orcs, there they are. They're not the blitzers. 4 blitzers as well, and then 3 rerolls, which are here, and you don't do those until after you've bought your players. So, you could also do strength type of orcs, where you get a troll and 4 blitzers, 4 black orcs, a thrower, and a lineman. You can do throw teammate, where you got a goblin and the troll can throw goblins. Like, there's various builds. You can look them all up on the site, whatever you want to do, just depending on your play style. So let's say we do the basic one, right? We get 4 blitzers. You can make them look however you want. You can name them whatever you want. You can name them tacos. You can name them Banjo Kazooie. You can name them whatever you want, right? And you just got to fill your team with them. So we needed 4 blitzers. I'll just buy them all for general purposes. There we go. Black orcs. Those, and 11 players is what you want to hit for your starting roster. So we'll get a thrower. There we go. And 2 linemen. There we go. I'll go over what all these numbers mean in a second. Don't worry. So let's confirm. We got 11. That's enough to fill a team on the field. You can also go over that number and a guy will stand on the sidelines as your like substitution, but you don't need that yet. You just gotta know 11 players. So 3 rerolls is what we can afford. Rerolls are usually the most expensive out of all these things, so you want to get those first. Unless you're very unsure about how you're going to be able to play the game, and you think some of your guys are going to die, in which case you get an apothecary, which makes it so if your guy dies or is injured really badly, you can use your apothecary and re-roll that injury roll and hopefully be safe. So this is kind of the safe pick if you think you're going to get injured, but usually you can buy an apothecary after 1 game. So I think usually people go like 3 re-rolls and then get an apothecary after a game or 2 and hope nobody dies. That's the only... You're taking a little risk there, but... So re-rolls are also varying in expense based on whatever team you are. So there's 60,000 with orcs. I believe they're like 120,000 with lizardmen and elves and stuff like that. They might be cheaper when you buy them off the start, like 70,000, and then after the fact, then they become more expensive. So just be aware of that. Cheerleaders, fan factor, coach assistants. You don't really need any of these. Fan factor goes up on its own, so you don't have to put any in there either. There you go. You've built your first team. Yeah, your roster. Yeah, your stadium. Most of these things don't even matter. You're all good. So let's go over the numbers. What do these numbers mean? Tacos has 6 MA, 3 ST, 3 AG, and 9 AV. So that means he has 6 movement, 3 strength, 3 agility, and 9 armor value. So that's movement. That's how many squares you can move. You can always move 2 more squares in addition to that by doing go for it rolls, which is where you roll a die. And if you roll a 1, you fall down and your turn's over and you can get injured. So always be wary of doing go for it rolls. Your strength is your blocking ability. We'll go over that in a bit. This is your agility. We'll go over that in a bit. And then your armor, which is also affected by your the other player's strength because they're going to be bashing you and trying to break your armor. So if that's confusing, we're going to go into a little bit of a game right here, test it out. All right, I found what I'm looking for now. So I went to friendly match, local, and now we can pick all the things we want, and I can actually teach you. So I went to the campaign mode, and that was not what I was looking for. All right, so go over here. We'll play this human team. Difficulty, medium, doesn't matter. All right, everything looks good. Let's go. Quick match. Great. So what is going to happen here is we're going to go on the field, and I'm going to teach you on the spot. We're going to learn how to play Blood Bowl, and it's snowing out. Great. Here we go. There we go. Coin flip, and every time there's a coin flip, and the winner gets to choose whether they kick or receive. So if you want to change the camera, you hit C. Just kind of depends what camera you prefer. I like this one the best. If you hit Control, you can cycle through the grid with player names, the grid with skill icons, or just the grid. And then, yeah. So what's going to happen when you start? If you are receiving the ball, which he chose to receive, the kicking team will act first. So usually you have to put, you want to have your bashiest guys up front because they're going to be fighting. And you might be like, I know what I'll do. I'll just put nobody on the front line, the line of scrimmage. But you have to have at least 3 players on this line whenever the ball is kicked. So, I mean, you can spread them out. You can do whatever you want. But that's just how the game is. So confirm. I'll just keep it like that. And now I'm going to kick. When you kick, you pretty much want to kick it in the middle of the field. Get the ref. So when you kick it, you want to kick it in the middle of the field because then the ball is going to scatter. So if you kick it in the middle, it might scatter way over there, or way over there, or way over there, or it might just land right in the middle. Unless you have a guy with kick, which lets them kick more accurately. Alright, so I skipped over the human turn just because I didn't want to really get into what the human was doing yet before describing what I'm doing. So, right now, here's all my players on the field. As you can see, we're all scattered about. That guy went and picked up the ball. I got guys over here, over there, wherever. So, first things first, learning how to move. So my black orc can move 4 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if he wants to move 2 more than that, he has to do the go for it rolls. And since it's snowing, it's actually going to be a 2+ instead of just a 1. Or a 3+, I mean, instead of a 2+. So if you roll a 1, normally you fall down. When it's snowing out, if you roll a 1 or a 2, you fall down. So it's harder to do the go for it's when it's snowing. If I go over here, you'll see I'm right next to this guy, and if I hover over him, these 2 white dice appear, which means I have more strength than him. I can overpower him, I'll double click him, and I get double both down, which is bad, because that means both players are knocked down. Certain skills can change this result, notably block. So we're going to re-roll it, and I get a push. I'll take a push, we'll do that, and you can either stay, or you can follow him, so it just depends on what you want to do. I'm stronger than he is, so you know what? I'm going to follow him. Now, here's my other guy. He's 3 strength, and this ogre's 5 strength, so there's 2 red die. What that means is I would block him, but he would get to choose the result. So if there's a skull, which means attacker down, I go down, turns over, not good. Don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to help him out. I'm going to bring Morgdar over, and now when I try it, I still get the red die, but it says +1 strength because he's adding his strength. So now he is at 4 strength because he's getting assisted. So now this guy got knocked down a turn earlier. I'm going to stand him up. And now we're at even strength, which means... wait. Oh, there's a guy behind him I didn't see. Never mind. So we're going to bring 1 more in. And now we're in even strength since he's 5 strength. And that'll give you 1 white die. So when you're at even strength, you get 1 white die. And that's how it is. So we're going to try the 1 white die. And we push him. And we'll push him away from everyone. So you can only ever block people like that when you're standing next to them. However, once a turn, you can do a blitz, which is where you move and block. So if I want to move and then hit him, a little lightning bolt pops up. It's like, yo, you're blitzing. I'm like, all right. I charge at him. I get a knockdown, which is a defender down, and he's going to go down. Whap. And for now, I'm going to end my turn. I can keep moving if I want, since I already blitzed. So let's just say I want to keep moving here. I'll do that. Normally I wouldn't, but I just did anyway. So, what just happened there when he got knocked down? That involves the armor. So with your armor roll, you have a certain amount of armor, right? So he has 8 armor, so you have to roll a 9 or higher to break his armor and injure him. What happened was, I rolled a 4 and a 1 on the armor roll, which is a 5. That doesn't break his armor. He got knocked down. He'll get up again. And you're never going to keep him down. So, that's how armor works. It's really easy. Like, all the numbers looking through them, you're like, oh my god, it's so complicated. But it's really actually pretty easy. So, if a guy's got, let's say, 9 armor, you have to roll a 10+. So it's a lot harder to injure the ogre than it is, say, Francis over here. And the ogre just blitzed my guy. He got a defender down. And that injured me. Alright, so we got an injury. Good, good, good. We can take a look at what's happening here. No long-term effect. So, take a look at what happened there, alright? If you click this, it brings up the dice log. He attacked me. He chose defender down. I got hit. He rolled a 6 and a 4, which is 10. And my armor was... Oh, wait, he's injured. So he's over here. His armor was 9, so rolling a 10 broke my armor. He rolled an injury roll, which determines what's going to happen to you when your armor's broken. You can either get stunned, which is you miss a turn, so you got to lay there for a turn and then you can get up. You get knocked out, which means you go over to this knocked out area, and you have a chance at coming back in at the end of the half or whenever someone scores or stuff like that. Or you get injured, and injuries can range from badly hurt to no effect, like what he just got, to breaking your leg and like losing a movement point. You can lose agility points. You can lose armor. You can have a whole bunch of stuff happen to you, and you can die. So death is probably the worst one, although some of the things you have that happen to you practically are like dying. Like if you lose an agility point on an elf or something, that's really bad. So that's just how that works. See that casualty roll? So you roll the injury roll and the casualty roll. So a lot of things have to line up, but it's still possible. So let's talk about, now that we've talked about strength, I guess I can do a little more about strength, so I think you understand it. Right now I am 4, this guy's 3, but since he's got his friend helping him, we're even strength. So a lot of it's just assisting. So if I were to come over and take this guy away from the equation and be like, yo, get out of here, I would now have my 4 strength versus 3 strength, because he can't help anymore, because he's being distracted by Banjo-Kazooie. So a lot of it's just distractions. I could even hit him if I wanted to and be like, yeah, my friend's here to help me now, and he's stronger than you. And whap! Knocked him down. And then let's move this guy up to get some more strength so that we can take out this guy. And that works. So see, this is why everybody just goes around. You kind of just make your blocks on people. You always want the 2 white die blocks. And now, we're going to try to dodge. And we failed. So this is a great time to talk about agility and dodging. So, let's try this again. And he fell again. On the reroll, he's also stunned. So let's talk about what just happened there. Every time you try to run past a player, you have to go through their tackle zones. That's what all those little like areas popping up mean. So every player has tackle zones which are surrounding them. So if that guy wanted to get to him, right, he had to run here and then here. So you had to go past this guy's tackle zones. And in order to do that, you have to look at your agility. So his agility was 3, which is your standard basic agility, right? And that means on dodge rolls, he has to roll a 3+. He rolled a 2 and he fell. He re-rolled it. Or no, he rolled a 1, then he re-rolled it, and he rolled a 2, so he did not get a 3+. He fell down. His armor was broken, and he was stunned. So that's what happened there. But do I have any 4 agility players? I don't think I do. I have 2 agility guys, the big guys, so I can show you what happens when you try to dodge away with them. After this human's done moving. But that's all agility is. Agility just affects 2 things, mainly. Well, actually, no, it's more than 2 things. But the 2 main things you need to know are dodging and picking up the ball. Agility also affects passing and catching, but for a new player, you're not going to be doing that too much, because I think you should just focus on the basics at first. So see here, 2 agility. I'm in this ogre's tackle zone, right? These are his tackle zones. And these, you're like, why is that a 2 and a 4 and a 5? That's how many players are in that tackle zone. So because there's 5 humans here, 5 of them are in this tackle zone. There's only 4 in this tackle zone because there's 4 humans. This guy is not there. And there's only 2 here because these 2 are taking up that tab. So, I mean, a lot of it's just common sense, right? So let's say I wanted to dodge away. 50%. I'd have to roll a 4 or higher to dodge away from this ogre, because 2 agility is a 4+, 3 agility is a 3+, and so on. So if you have 5 agility, you only have to roll a 2+, like, all the time, which is great. So instead, you might be like, you know what? I want to bash him, but you got red dice, so it's not even going to work. So, see, all over 50%, 50%. They're all 2 agility. So let's try dodging away just for fun. And he fell. So he had to roll a 4. He rolled a 3. So normally, a lineman guy would have made it away on that roll. But since he's just a giant black orc, oh, he rolled a 6, so he made it away. So he's free to move around whoever he wants. I mean, what else could we do here? We could try to bash someone, but there's way too many guys all over. Maybe if we come over and help him out, we'll be good. Let's try that. Actually, let's try to hit this guy over here. And we do. And we'll follow. Like that. And let's do some go for it. Actually, you know what? Hold on, can I come in from here? Yeah, let's come in from here. Then we don't have to go for it. like that. And we knock him down, which is great. Oh, yeah, now we injured him. Beautiful. And he fractured his arm, so he's going to be missing the next game. Excellent. And this guy's got 3 agility, so he's got a better chance of dodging away. And he does. He had to roll a 3+. So if you only have 1 agility, you have to roll a 5+ to dodge away. So you have to roll a 5 or a 6 to get away from someone. So that's not good. You never want to be dodging away unless it's like an emergency with 1 or 2 agility players. There are skills that will allow you to use your strength, like break tackle is what it is, to move away from players using your strength instead. So if you have a big guy like him and you want to get away, that's one tactic you can do to help him out. And once you know all these basics, you can kind of just look at the skills and read them and be like, oh, I understand that now. So for example, block. When you roll the dice that you roll to block people, one of the results might be both down. When you have block, it prevents the player from being knocked down after a block on a both down result. So that means these guys both have nothing. So if he would have picked block instead of push, we both would have went down. His turn would be over, and that's that. If one of us had block, he would get knocked out by me if I had block, and I'd get knocked out by him if he had block. So block is a very good skill to have just on anybody, really, because it prevents you from falling down and getting knocked down in one way. So let's just keep standing up here. Let's see. What do we want to do? We could blitz with this guy. We could hit this guy. Let's try the 1 die here. That's a skull. I don't have any rerolls. That means the attacking player's knocked down. I'm knocked down. So, I mean, a lot of it, again, it's just kind of trial and error, playing around, having some fun. So he just went for red dice, which was really stupid. But it actually worked out for him on the reroll, because now he can both down me. So he has block, so I'm going to get knocked down. Or defender stumbles, which, unless I have dodge, is going to knock me down. So I'll pick block just to show you that that's what happens. Like that. Okay. Let's see. Does anyone have dodge? I don't think so. There's push block again. Or both down. Block. I can't even. I'm just both down blocks. Like the same thing in my mind right now. Here goes the human ball guy. All right. So why is, you might be like, why is this ogre got things over, gears over his head? So the ogre's a big guy, and big guys are special players because you can usually only have one of them on every team. They're usually stronger. They have 5 strengths. They're stronger than everybody. And they usually have good skills that they start with on top of it. So if we take a look here, you'll see that the ogre has Mighty Blow. So he adds 1 to any armor or injury roll made by a player with the skill. So, I mean, it's going to help him injure people. He's got, you don't really know about throw teammate. You need to know. Thick Skull makes it so it's harder to injure him. But he has Loner. So if you try to use a reroll, because he's a loner, you have to roll and get a 4+ in order to use a reroll. So say he rolled 2 skulls, right? You went to block somebody and rolled 2 skulls, and he's like, oh, I don't want to use that. You would have to then roll a 4+ in order to use that reroll, or it's wasted. And then you have to choose between both skulls, and you're screwed. So you never really want to attack with your guy there. Your big guy. You don't want to attack with him first, is what I'm trying to say. All right, there we go. We knocked this guy down. Like so. Whap. Beautiful. And let's try... No, let's just go for this 1 die hit. See if we can make a big time play. It's a push. So we're just going to push him towards the sidelines. Now, if I were to hit him again, if I were to push him one more time out of bounds, he would then be surfed, is what the terminology is. And that means he's out of bounds, The ball just flies back in randomly, so it's just scattered, kind of like a kickoff. And he is then injured. His armor is gone, and he just suffers an injury roll. Alright, Morgdar is dead. So, Morgdar has died. And now he can pretty much freely run the ball in. Unless he does a toss play for some reason and he tries to catch it. And then rolls double ones and can't catch the ball. That's the only time he won't score. So, what happened to Morgdar? Double sixes, so it broke the 10 plus armor roll. Injury, so it's a 6 and a 5, so he's injured pretty bad. And then the casualty roll, which determines the severity of the injury, was a 6 plus a 7 on the scatter die thing. So, I mean, he's dead. Morgdar is dead. He served his purpose. He was a good orc. Never forget Morgdar. Alright. Well, let's see if we can pick this ball up. So I have 3 agility, which is going to make it so I only have to roll 3 plus to dodge away, right? But to pick this ball up, it's also based on agility. So it's only a 50%, and I get a 6, so I'm fine. So normally that would also be a 3 plus, but it's a 4 plus since this guy is standing on top of it. So if there were another guy standing on top of it, it'd be a 5 plus. And then however many other guys were there, it would be a 6 plus. Because anytime you roll a 6, it's an automatic crit. You're good to go. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Same with a 1 and failing. So if I wanted to, I could try a pass. However, you can only do short passes in the snow. But you know what? Sometimes for learning purposes, you got to make a big time play. All right, he failed the pass. And it was not good. So intercepting, if anyone ever passes and you're in the line of sight, you can choose one guy to try and intercept it. That's another thing you can do. And if you roll a 6, you'll intercept it. So always watch out for that. Always hope your guy intercepts it because it's great when it does happen. And it's just fun. So let's see what else we got here. Normally I'd want to pick up the ball with my thrower. He has sure hands, which means he gets to re-roll the pickup roll if he fails it. So sure hands is always good for your ball carrier. The only other skill that I don't see on like any players is dodge. Dodge is another pretty crucial skill because it allows you to re-roll a dodge roll. So say I was this black orc guy, right? And I just got, I just wanted to dodge away, but I only had 2 agility. And I'm like, oh no, I gotta dodge away. I got 50% chance. I'd be able to re-roll that if I failed it with the dodge skill automatically. I wouldn't have to waste one of my main re-rolls. Also, with dodge, he did Defender Stumbles. You're like, what's the difference between Defender Stumbles and Defender Down? Defender Stumbles, if you have dodge, just pushes you. So if you're an agile player, that's another skill you want to get so you don't get knocked down as much. And aside from that, let's see, what else? I'm not playing very well. I'm just trying to like teach everything. So dodge, block, and probably sure hands are like 3 crucial skills that you're usually going to get on like every team. And then sure hands usually just for one player, but dodge and block you can get for almost anyone. Not really the big guys as much, but just depends. Just use your brain, you know? Use some common knowledge. Sometimes you can have some fun, do what you want. So let's say I wanted to do a big time play, and I wanted to try and hit him. Now, you might be like, 17% dodge, why is that? Whenever you dodge from one tackle zone into another tackle zone, it lowers your odds of doing it. So I'm already in a tackle zone, and then I'm going to dodge into a tackle zone with like 3 people in it, so it's just extremely unlikely. See, so if I were to go here, it's 67. If I were to go here, it's 50, because that's one guy. If I were to go like over here, say there was 2 right here, it would drop down to 33. But since I'm going to 3, it's going to drop down even further. But we're going to try for the big time play. How about a 6? Nope. And he rolled a 1, and he's knocked out. Alright. Well, that's fine. Aside from that, I think I've taught you most of the basics of Blood Bowl. The humans are going to score here. Which means he's going to get 3 points. So you get 3 points for a touchdown, 1 point for a pass, and 2 points for an injury caused. So those are going to allow you to level up. So if you take a look, where's that guy? That guy caused an injury, so he's got 2 points. Let's see here. Bloop. There he is. He scored a touchdown, so he got 3 points. I'm just going to go ahead and concede. And as you can see here, since I conceded, I didn't get any MVPs. But usually, if you don't concede and both finish the game, you get 2 MVPs on your team. Or you get 1 MVP on your team, and they get 5 points. It's randomly chosen. So, just like, hey, Bertolf, Gottlob, you get 5 points, even though you didn't do anything. So sometimes you get lucky, and your guy gets points, and then he gets an MVP, and he levels up right away. Just depends. And aside from that, that's really it. That's really Blood Bowl. This is why you don't want to concede in online games, too, because a lot of people get fed very easily if they just get a lot of concedes against them, and they just get a bunch of points. Because the concede winner always gets 2 MVPs, so it's like 10 points for free. So don't concede. All right? Unless you're like really in the shitter or something. I mean, if we take a look at just some other teams I've had, I can show you some level up stuff. So let's take a look at the zombies, my undead team. So as you can see here, he's 2 of 6. Worker B is level 2, which means instead of 6 points, he now needs 16 points to level up. And then after that, it's 31. And then after that, it's 51. And then it just keeps getting crazier and crazier. And I think you can go all the way up to level 7. 7 or 8 is the max level any character can be. And then they can't level anymore. So that's how it is. If you ever want to level up your player, say they got enough points to level up, you just click. There'll be a little level up button. You click it, it rolls dice, and based on that, it'll show you which category of skill you're able to get. So ghouls, for example, can get general skills and agility skills no matter what the dice roll. For passing and strength skills, they need to roll double. So whenever you roll double on something, it's usually pretty good to spend it on one of these skills and be like, oh shit, I don't know if I'm ever going to roll doubles again. I got to get something good here. Also, if you were to roll a 10, so say you roll a 6 and a 4, that would mean you could get a movement point or an armor point. Normally you don't want to get any armor points, but movement points can be pretty good, especially on ball carriers. If you roll an 11, you can get an agility point for your guy, which is really good for ball carriers again. And if you roll a 12, double 6s, you can get a strength point, which is usually always what you want to get, because the stronger they are, the harder it is to take them down, and it's just really good for strength points. Strength points are really good. So that's that. Some people get mutations like chaos and stuff, which are just more skills to choose from, and it'll actually affect their character, which is kind of cool. So you can get like more hands, so you get a better chance to pick up the ball and stuff like that. 2 heads, so it makes it easier to dodge. So just read through the skills. I think I've covered everything. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments below. Sam and I usually stream Blood Bowl all the time over on twitch.tv/Crendor, and his is twitch.tv/Strippin. So if you're ever wanting to see some Blood Bowl, follow us there, and we'll probably be playing quite a bit. So thank you for watching. Okay. See you.